Evening, everyone. I'm Shashank Shetty. I manage the retail and consumer goods sector for West of India. And it's a pleasure to be among this. Would love to. It's a very interesting topic. When it came to me, I was like distribution dynamics in the retail sector, right? And we live in a world of hyper personalization, and everyone is talking about commerce and how commerce and D2C companies are going the D2C way. But I was very pleasantly surprised to see a topic around distribution, right? And we all know that 80% of our sales today happen in the retail outlets. In fact, I was just reading an article a few days ago from Forrester, I believe, which said post-COVID, almost 90% of consumers have returned back to stores, and 80% of purchases are happening in the stores itself. So, would love to kind of hear perspectives. All of you are stalwarts in the industry. I probably would not be able to name everyone here at the moment, but hopefully by the end of the session, I know each one of you better. With the endeavor, and even at Salesforce, we've been working with consumers. My co-panelist over here, Ankitaa, works directly with D2C brands on hyper-personalizations, on the consumer behavior, and how can companies capitalize on that to deliver more sales, right? And that's a channel that we've seen more and more IT sales heads, commerce heads, marketing heads talk to us about it. How can we increase our percentage revenues from that perspective? But at the same time, we totally do understand the efforts that are going on in digitizing supply chain, and that presents a unique challenge to everyone because you do not essentially come in contact with the end consumer. And when you do not come in contact with the end consumer, but the consumer expectation is that you deliver a very personalized experience for them, right? So it's a great crossroad. Would love to hear perspectives from each one of you. I'd request if we get to know each other a little more. So if you could quickly give us a introduction about yourself and keep it free flowing. I don't have like a laundry list of questions for everyone, but the idea is to get your perspectives in and share our knowledge with each other. So thank you for that. So, do you want to get started?
So, my name is Dr. Prabodh. I am the head regulatory R&D from Marico and also the chairman of All India Food Processing Association. So, I will be putting a perspective related to the food and particularly after COVID, how the consumer is now expecting the freshness in the product and what is the important of the distribution channel and the logistic part. So, when my turn will come.
Hi, I am Bhima. I take care of IT at L'Oreal.
Hi, Sarkar here. I head the IT department for Apparel Group India.
Hi, good evening everybody. My name is Balaji Iyer. I head sales for the consumer business in Bajaj Electricals.
Hi, this is Devesh Kumar. I take care of fashion business of Max and as a VP here, and it's covering all gamut of business. So supply chain, though it's not the core domain, but still I know the need and what is the requirement in coming time and how digitalization is taking place in my company as well as it's supporting to other fashion retailers.
Hi, I'm Dr. Narayan Sarkar. I head the consumer business of Godrej Interio and a senior vice president within Godrej and Boyce Group. So I'm looking forward to tell how we are adapting to the changes and what we are doing to make a 125-year-old organization adaptive to the change and still keeping with the changes and with the times. So looking forward to listening to all of your views too. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. I am Gopa Kumar, the CEO of Bhima Jewels. Bhima is a 100-year-old company. It's a legacy brand. And jewelry sector, as you could notice recently, in the recent past, a lot of major corporates have taken a lot of interest. Trust is what drives this business, and supply chain is so important for the trust, right? And because category has been growing at double digits over the last, I think, around COVID, I used to be in the food business before with Future Group, and I moved jewelry sector just pre-COVID, and I thought, who's going to buy jewelry? Now that survival is what it is. But believe me, it's so culturally ingrained, and it's a part of our culture. Consumers, more marriages happen, more consumption happen, and that consumption boom has hopefully is not going to stop. So yeah, so I'll share some insights on that as we go along.
Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Nikhil Bhushan. I am heading the technology for travel food services. So we are not into travel, it's more into food businesses, around I think 450 restaurants span India, primarily at the airports. And of course, like now with this scale of operations, having the fresh product delivered to the customer, I mean like in the shortest time possible. But that's exactly what our focus around the entire supply chain and logistics is. So I try to put my insights over there.
Hi. Sorry. No, please.
I'll just quickly introduce. Hi everyone, I'm Ankitaa. Obviously I'm part of Salesforce team and I take care of marketing cloud solutions from Salesforce side. While I know the agenda today is not marketing focused, but I do want to pick your brains eventually, as a lot of you are from the IT side, right? So what's the impact of DP you're thinking, and more on the first party data, but we'll get to it later. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Iyer. I head the marketing for Wellness Forever, the chain of pharmacies and lifestyle stores. We are a post-pandemic booming business, and so over there is a lot that we've also been trying to construct as a customized story for our customers. The play that we have beyond medicines makes us very relevant in trying to craft a customized story for customers and also deliver an assortment that answers to that. So a large part for us is to be able to incorporate a lot of those customer insights into our entire supply chain and value proposition in stores. So very interested to participate in this. Awesome, great, thank you, everyone. Such a diverse panel and across industries, right? And one thing in common that I see is while all of you probably have a very, very strong D2C or e-commerce play, your distribution networks continue to be there. So Balaji, if I could request you to get started, give us if you can share your perspectives on the overall appliances, electrical market. It's very omni-channel in nature. You do some research, you look at it somewhere else, but at the same time you need to ensure all of the different varieties that is present needs to be present at the retail outlet that is nearest to a person. At the same time, I'm assuming you're not able to capture individual person preferences. So as the head of sales, how are you managing that, and where do you see digitization going in the distribution network over there?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, Shashank, right? So largely the categories that we operate in is largely small domestic appliances, and general trade continues to be the backbone for our business, our category. But the shift is very, very, very evident, right? The shift to omni-channel, shift to e-commerce, alternate channels, large format stores. That's really happening in a very large way. I'm not sure about the overall industry numbers because the syndicated data is actually very disparate. But in our organization, if you look at it, general trade was contributing maybe around 75%, say pre-COVID. Alternate channel was 25. Alternate channel is now close to 35-40%. Right. So that shift has actually happened in the last maybe 36 months. So more and more consumers now are increasingly digital savvy. They really want to look at all possible options, even if it is 1,000 rupee product, and then take their call accordingly. Some of the high-end purchases still happen in store. They really want to touch and feel the product, and then make their final purchase decision. But yes, the shift definitely is happening towards non-trade channel in terms of consumption per se. Right?
So interesting point, right? And that's what we've also been observing. Like while there is a shift towards e-commerce and D2C, people are going and evaluating it in stores and then probably making the decision to purchase it or make the final purchase and payment online. So you at the same time still need to maintain that distribution network so that your product is available to touch and feel. Correct. Hemang, what is your perspective, right? I think L'Oreal has been at the forefront of trying online as well and making it available over there as well. So there's a lot of push on purchasing online, I think the margins are also better when you're cutting down the distribution layers. But essentially, are you also looking at investing on digitizing? I know we are doing a project together on digitizing your distribution networks. But what is your perspective? So how do you see the dynamics changing in
No, I think just to put the perspective, let me first introduce how L'Oreal operates within India ecosystem. So we have 4 different divisions which we operate in India. Consumer segment, which is largely a mass market. Then we have professional, where apart from product we also sell the services. Then we have luxury, which is niche, of course, which are largely in the kind of airport, and that's where we sell it. And the 4th is through dermatologists. Okay, so the challenge is that we have a mix of O plus O in all 4 divisions. But largely, if we talk about L'Oreal India, 65% is still offline. So though we are investing in online, largely in terms of D2C, but that is more to do with luxury segment and to capture new consumers. But still, India being a market, I think it's largely offline. And that's where our investment in more in terms of
in the distribution networks is
definitely.
okay. Again, so our initial hypothesis remains true, right? So that while you are investing on the D2C channels, these are the areas that we are working on. Gopa, what are your thoughts? Jewelry business is absolutely touch and feel, right? People like you talked about the trust factor in your introduction. Probably even the most new age buyers would prefer to go and buy jewelry in the shop after doing all the research, comparing designs and all of that. So you also have to maintain the inventory in both places. At the same time, you also have a unique challenge of maintaining catalogs and the grams and the weight and the finesse of delivering exactly what you showcase on a picture versus what get delivered. So multiple challenges from that perspective. So how do you think that digitization and distribution versus e-commerce plays a role?
Sure. So yeah, just a perspective on the demand side first, right? So where the consumer is, we as retailers and I've been doing this for decades now. Talk about omni-channel and multi-channel and what have you, right? Consumer is already omni-channel. Consumer is already there, right? So I think you got to find a way to serve that consumer. If the consumer wants to consume the product sitting at home, comfort of our home, should be able to deliver it there. Consumer wants to surf, explore, discover. You need to be there in that space, right? Consumer comes into your store, wants to have a digital experience. Like we have augmented reality at our stores. So I have 2,000 designs of earrings. Now you don't expect young lady to kind of keep trying those designs, and it's going to be painful. So you could shortlist those designs and come to a selection of 5-10 that you really want to put on, because it's a 40-minute average over-the-counter service that happens at our stores, unless it's wedding where it's going to be 6 to 7 hours or so. We give them lunch and what have you, all of that stuff. So I think meaningfully integrating the digital play into the shopping experience in the store, and also allowing consumer access to wherever top of the funnel activity or whatever that you want to talk about, at her residence is what we've kind of focused on. As far as the jewelry segment is concerned, look, overall it's a 800-ton market. It has been there. Most of modern retail is eating into the traditional space, and it's also at about, like you said, 25% or so, 25 to 30% growing. From the consumer, the way the consumers are interacting with the product, and the way they are kind of looking for this tailored experiences, right? And to build on the trust factor, traceability, where is it coming from, sustainability. Are they doing the responsible selling and the buying? All of this are, parameters which we need to integrate in the whole buying process, right? But what is selling really in the e-commerce space is bullion. Okay. Bullion is what is selling, right? So you don't need too much creativity. I'm not a bank. Okay. I want adornment. I want consumers to wear that product and, come out to whatever RAF function. There are a lot of women here who are wearing great jewelry that I see, right? And I hope all of that is real and nice, So, so that's the business I am in. I'm not, but by the way, it has got that value which appreciates. So if that earring that you're wearing was worth 4,800 rupees per gram, last year. Today you should be happy it's 5,800, right? So you got enriched, that's the business. So how do we move the needle from bullion purchases to real jewelry purchases? That's the challenge. And today what is selling, if you see on Amazon, and we do a lot of work with Myntra, Amazon, and we are learning the ropes. I put investment in stock, and then I have captive stock and stuff like that. So ENRP is what we call it: earring, nosepin, rings, and pendants. That's what is selling, and that is about 10-15% of the category. 85% is bullion, which is not very creative in that sense. Yeah. So some of the challenges.
But at the same time, when you're trying to make that shift from bullion purchases to jewelry purchases online, how much is the focus on digitizing your distribution network, right? Like even today, you would have retail outlets, you would have, I'm not very sure, but if you operate through franchisee models.
No, we have own store.
Right? So if that distribution is happening, making it available at the right time, knowing that, okay, a particular area, this is the kind of jewelry that people prefer, what are the customer demographics looking for, those are the details that you also want to capture. I think the e-commerce journeys and capturing, and probably Ankitaa, if you want to add on to this, it plays a very important role for you to know what stock do you want to get to what place. Right?
Exactly.
So any thoughts around that?
No, of course. I think we have a team which studies the trend, and jewelers have their own ecosystem, right? And there are a lot of forums that you go and you visit and you mine the data. But nevertheless, as from a consumer perspective is concerned, one issue the jewelry industry is facing is the affordability factor. And there is a consumer movement which is happening towards low weight and light weight, which is more design oriented. So it's affordable. So 18 karat is coming to play, 14 karat is coming to play. So make it affordable. At the same time, the product value keeps increasing. So, those are the things that we are working on. Those are the trends that we will see.
So we do have a lot of, I would say, top jewelers like Bhima who have gotten into the categories where they can have sustainable and everyday use made pieces. And definitely, I must say, we are around the payday right now. And the first thing that happens at every household, including women, especially, is whether it's mutual funds or whether it's jewelry.
Well, thanks for that.
Yeah, this is always the case. But going back to the point which Shashank mentioned, actually, which is e-commerce, it's not just jewelry, it's actually everywhere. I do believe a lot of repeat users are going to be loyal customers. Right now, maybe for jewelry, it means maybe if I am a no-spin customer, I know your brand, and if I'm, let's say, gifting it to someone, I'll close my eyes and I'll just order it online because I know I've experienced with the brand. Similarly, if I talk about other industries, if there's anything that I've experienced before, I've tried before, be it FMCG, obviously L'Oreal, we know, if I've tried something and if I want to go into the professional series that you have, I know I can recommend it. Someone has tried out either in salon. So a lot of it does ride on loyal customers, repeat customers. So I just want to pick your brain, maybe that's an open question to everyone. What are you doing with respect to harnessing the power of loyal customers or getting the buck back or increasing the average order value and the LTVs from your loyal customers?
Yeah, so I know I've taken a little more time, but I'll be quick so that others have a chance. It's nice that you speak so much about jewelry. So consumer gives us the data willingly in this category. I worked in food and fashion before, and you got to ask for a number. But here, statutory requirements are that you collect the data, and in some cases, a PAN card and all of that. So we have the data. Now the challenge is, and I think you're going in that direction, is, there's a mountain of data. What the hell do you do with it now, right? And the marketing monies are limited, and you're still doing brand building. So how much money do you spend on CRM activities, repeat customers? And jewelry is not something, it's nice we're buying every month, and I think Salesforce is paying very well, But that's nice, more of you. But see, so what I say is, in the food category, consumers shop every 3 days or so for fresh, whatever. And in the fashion category, every 45 days to 60 days is typically what I've seen, having been in the category. Here we are trying to induce 4 visits. 4 visits. One which is substantial, which is an anniversary, birthday, or whatever it is. And then, some light top-up kind of purchases, and maybe the no-spin activity, and maybe the festive, or a Dhanteras, or a Akshaya Tritiya. So you use that data effectively to communicate relevant offer to relevant segments. Challenge again is marketing money and ROAS, which you need to really see, and get all of that going. A lot of work that Bhima has to do. We are in that starting journey, really. So I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
Thank you, Gopal. Devesh, you spoke about re-engineering a 125-year-old company. I think the principles of the company were built on a strong distribution network. We all know about. While of course you are in a relatively newer brand in terms of interior, but I think a lot of these companies which have succeeded over the years have made themselves available and have invested in technology way before, right? Like even before the advent of e-commerce or omni-channel as we call it. But more and more people would look at an IKEA, look at Amazon, look at 100 different websites today, and then come and compare, and then finally make the purchase, come in and try it out. Where are you seeing investments, technology investments going, and how has been your journey in terms of trying to make the consumer shift, or are you even trying to make the consumer shift to purchase more online, or are you focusing on distribution channels?
Yeah, a little bit about the background. So, of course, Godrej Interio, which is the consumer business which I represent, is one of the 14 different businesses of Godrej and Boyce, from appliances to security service to even locks. So we have a lot of consumer businesses. Now, how do we weave together all these consumer businesses? And Godrej Interio's first product was a storeware, which was launched 100 years ago, more than 100 years ago today. So it's not a young organization at all. It's a great old organization. But today we have an entire range, an entire set of modular furniture where, except for the floor and the roof, everything can be configured using factory-made products. So now with this kind of a setup and with a lot of distribution, because 125 years is a long time to set up your branches and distribution and warehousing. So what Godrej has is its own warehouse, own branches, and a lot of prowess in distribution. We have more than 900 showrooms and distribution points. Now when e-commerce came, and we took some baby steps in terms of having our website and those things a few years ago. We realized that people still consider furniture buying or buying anything which is high value, like he also rightly said, to be a non-linear journey. It is a zigzag journey between online, offline, again offline. So that happens. So sometimes a person would go to the offline store, choose something, and then come back and put the order online because he simply doesn't have the time anymore. He has chosen, he has decided, and sometimes he chooses something online and comes and inquires and wants to touch and feel the product, see how the fabric actually looks, because how a product looks also depends on your screen resolution and whether the screen provides you the true resolution or not. So hence we are on an omni-channel journey where we want to weave in our physical channels as well as our online channels. Today we are present in most of these marketplaces as well as our own brand.com. But we have weaved it in the sense that person can come to our offline store, can order there itself. And we have, of course, used some of your technologies to do that. So we have partnered with Salesforce in that. And we can weave that very easily. So the biggest challenge is also having some legacy systems at the back end, while front end providing great service to the consumer using state-of-the-art systems. So the ERP system might be a very old system, but the front end system has to be a very new system. So all these plugins and the connectors become very important for an organization like ours. So for example, say a person in a place like in a second rung town order something on e-commerce. What we do is our dealer over there or our showroom over there has some stocks, can service that in a single day. So he doesn't have to wait for the central warehouse to start supplying from a bigger town nearby. So that is how we can weave in physical versus e-commerce. Easier for us because starting e-commerce is much easier than starting offline. So most people who are digitally native vertical brands or digitally native vertical brands, they come first in digital and then they start doing pilots on offline stores, and then they struggle with ROIs and other things. So we have skipped that measure. So that is something which is beneficial for us. But weaving in everything into one is something which makes the elephant dance. So that is what we are doing. And in terms of basically customer relationship management, again, a marketing cloud which we are implementing now, and the implementation has started. is helping us. So as he said, furniture is also not an item which people buy every day. Maybe if we can get, he says 4 touch points, if we get 2 touch points in a year, we would be more than happy. In the sense that when a person is renovating, or when the person, and our homescape study which we initiated along with ET, and we actually published that free of cost, it's available. It says that 74% of the consumers say that furniture is forever. Gold also can be remade, and people give that offer that you bring your gold and we'll remake. But furniture is kind of, you want to bequeath it to someone other than the and Godrej quality of course ensures that you can bequeath it to your people and your children, and you would have all inherited some almiras or some other products from us, but today the other products are also similar. So in that sense, basically what we are doing is we are trying to identify certain triggers where the people can may want to buy. So while a Salesforce Sales Cloud, we are using as a standalone system for billing and for secondaries and for tracking and for connecting all our distribution together. Marketing Cloud, any kind of Marketing Cloud gives this power to weave in all divisions of an organization together. So suppose somebody buys a good biometric main door lock, which is a very expensive product. We immediately get to know that he has bought a house, or at least he's renovating a house. So then we can send communication on appliances, on furniture, on would you need a tijori for your home? Today the safes are a big business for us, and many other things which the person can need for the home. In a place like a Bombay or a Pune, we can also send him, would you also need your fall ceiling done, or flooring done, because here in 3 or 4 cities we have complete solutions. Suppose a person doesn't respond. Suppose a person buys a simple lock and we get to know, because to validate your warranty today you generally have to scan a QR code. Even FMCG companies now have QR codes and say you get an offer if you scan that QR code. Now in a distribution company, you generally don't have access to consumer data. So I get access to consumer data whoever buys from my showrooms, which is around 600 showrooms. What about the distributors who reach even multi-brand outlets? I may not get that. We also sell mattresses. And if we sell 100 crore worth of mattresses, I need the customer data. How do we get that? Put a QR code. Warranty valid if you send me this. So then we get the data, and suppose he buys a smaller lock. Then we can send him something else. You buy a smaller item from us. So a lot of things can be done if we integrate things better using technology. And of course, technology is there, and today, all of you know, software as a service is expensive. It's not something which we invest one, then fill it, shut it, forget it. It is something which is a recurring expense, and it has to keep giving us return. So I've taken a lot of time because we are the ones who are grappling with a lot of these challenges. But
great perspective. I think bringing together of the distribution as well as the first party data, as we call it in our world.
Every other division. So many of your organizations may have other divisions. You can bring everything in.
But Devesh, and I think even for Sarkar, right? So you all are in the lifestyle business, so to say. And again, I come across 2 categories of people who, one category will be that we'll try each and every dress out there, or a shirt out there, and or a pant out there, and then keep and buy the best one. Or the other lot is that I know my size, I know my fit, just go and order this. I'm not going to change my brand, right? And so you have 2 challenges at hand. You have to convert people, of course, to try and make them buy different products at the same time. At the same time, you need to cater to that audience through your distribution networks to ensure that there is availability of a larger category of things to them.
You have taken a very right point actually. So we all know that logistics is no more that transporting one thing, one place to store. It's not the case. It means a lot more. So you need to reach just-in-time kind of approach, so that you can regulate your inventory, you can control your cover days. There's a concept of cover days in our case, because how less inventory you can manage the business is going to give you return. So how quickly you can send, again it's not quickly, in what condition you are getting, which medium you are getting, is that complete transparency between you and transporter and the warehouse. What is reflecting at warehouse about your inventory is the same or not. So IT integration is very, very important because everything is on auto replenishment system. So whatever is at your store must be exactly in the system. So if that is that variation is of, let's say, 5% also, entire sales cycle is going to get affected. So that is a very integral part, and henceforth digitization or system connection is something which is inevitable. You need to do that. So whether you are on ERPs earlier, now you had moved to SAP, or now it's SAP 4 HANA system, but you need to go for it. There is no option you can safeguard from that. So that expense is mandatory. You need to do it. And again, largely what we had observed is the offline store. Offline store, the opportunity loss is the maximum contributing degrowth factor for us. So you are getting a set of customers. These customers are going to get divided over a period of time. More and more malls are coming, more and more stores are coming, and that's the result that our sales through loyal customer is going up. It's 65 to 75. In older store, it is 85% also. So that is the case where repeat customer is something which is the basic life of your store. And in that case, if you miss out an opportunity because of a size not available, option not available, it is a even bigger loss. A person has made effort, has reached to you, has tried the garment, liked the garment, still you don't have size. So end mile is getting missed. So that's the lifeline of any retail store is the supply chain logistics. How well it is being coordinated with that, and that's the reason we are also moving towards the system. And RFID is something which is being adopted by few organizations, and others are also going towards it, so that you know the entire journey of product. Even the customer has bought this, how it is getting used, how it is reached, which destination it has gone. You know that even after the offline store. So that's the interesting story. That's about the supply chain. What I say, I'm not going to the technical discussions of systems, what we are going for and how it is. But time has changed, and again you need to live on a minimal inventory. Henceforth, if I say so we do have 4 bigger warehouses. For each zone we do have an independent warehouse, and again you get almost 40% stores getting delivered on the same day. So if something is sold tonight, it will reach same size, same option if it is the core category next day only. Though we cater to 502 stores as of now. So that is one which is there, and again rest of them also not more than 72 hours. That's the TAT we used to follow. So that is there. But again, what others had also mentioned about the omni-channel, what we do have. So we do have maxfashion.com, which sells on almost all marketplaces. Apart from that, a bigger role in fashion industry which has come. You want to launch a new category like Max Curve. We had launched entirely on omni-channel. So you need not to maintain that plus size at your store. It is all, and it's a very, very specific targeted customer who is reaching you and who does have a very clear intent to purchase, and they are largely high paying customers. They want to purchase all new options together. These new styles, fashion styles, I want to purchase all together. So that has helped a lot in that sense, and it's a complementary. Whatever you don't have at the store, we do have it. As he has mentioned, again, a SVI we say, which is a single view inventory, where I do have a network of close to 100 plus stores where all inventories are interconnected. So if you log in, so if I want to serve somebody at let's say Gangtok or Imphal, I need not to send from this, because that store is on SVI. If that store is on SVI, it will get delivered from there. So the transit time, what used to have some 4, 5, 6 days, it has got reduced to few hours. So this is the beauty of getting involved in the Omni as such. So digitization is working anywhere and everywhere, and it's at every level. So it's Omni which is helping us, which is contributing, started getting contributed close to 2% of the sale or 1.5% of the sale, which is coming out through Omni also. That's again a lost opportunity what we are getting. What was not available in the offline store is getting catered through the single view inventory, which is available inside there. So that's the help. At the same time, engaging customer is also very, very important nowadays. It's not the old model where you get approach a customer and do. Now customer is much more independent. They want to explore by themselves only. So those cases again it is helping out. We do have our Max Buddy kind of app. Again, it's a QR based app where you are getting a scheme which you had not purchased earlier. So what everybody was saying about CRM. So if I'm a regular buyer of, let's say, Indian wear, a lady is Indian wear pro, but not purchased kids wear. That history is with me. So it will throw you offer of kids wear, so that you can penetrate into the other category. So if you had purchased merchandise worth 3,000 earlier, now next slab will give you a bigger incentive on 6,000. So you had scanned the QR code, you had given all details, it is with me. Now you are available on my WhatsApp also. At the same time, I had given you something which you had never purchased earlier. So you do have a opportunity to get that experimented also. So upsell also, and at the same time penetration on new categories are also going on without launching in a particular store offline. So that these are the benefits, and actually this is something which is an ongoing journey. So now we are going to the AIs and generative AIs. So what next purchase will be is also coming to us. So new message will go, you had not purchased this much since last 6 months, so now go for this or try something new which has come. So we had recently applied that actually. We had launched Urban brand here, which is available in Dubai and Max store only. So youth customers, age segmentation is anyway with us. Whosoever has purchased young has directly got a message of Urban as such. And you won't believe the kind of response we had got in initial, it's 4 weeks now. But the kind of sale it's generating is amazing. We had never expected a regular launch of any brand without going print ads, without going on any commercial, only digital platform, and this kind of a thing has responded very well, which is as good as launching a brand offline. So that is something what I would like to mention here.
Yeah, I think more and more we kind of agree that while B2C is taking off, there has to be like an exchange of information between the distribution channels as well as the online direct to consumer channels as well, right? Sarfraz, your perspectives on that? You have so many brands under your group. How are you looking at digitizing it? Do you still focus on bringing in more transparency and more interchange of data between the distribution channels and the online channels? Or are you investing more towards the D2C channel?
And also a lot of them are actually premium brands.
Most of the brands are like, and we import 90% of our products. There's less than 10% that we do. That is for a specific brand, not here. To add on to, as some of the friends have rightly said, we try and fulfill from the stores. Our distribution actually happens 75%, whichever comes in, directly goes to the store. So I am only left with 25% at the warehouse. If you want me to service from the warehouse to the end customer via D2C, it's impossible. The competition is so high that, as we rightly said, you want to service it the next day, the next hour. If I service it from a Mumbai or a Delhi warehouse to, a Bangalore or an East zone, it's going to take me ages to do that. It's practically not possible. That's where the journey of Omni kicked in. Pre-COVID, there was not too much of focus, but COVID gave us that realization, I would say, and we have hold on to it. We are trying new ways of achieving the service for the customer as a whole, be it offline, be it online. So we are not trying to differentiate by saying, this customer is offline, he'll always be offline. No, that's not possible. The customer who's offline, because of the brand and because of the connect with the brand, the customer is going to shift to online. But is he always be online? No. There's an experience in the store, there is an experience with the product. So he's always going to juggle between the two environments, and that's where the focus is. Where we will have stores, we will have new brands coming in. But the ideology is you will have a brick and mortar, you will have an online channel to service the customer wherever the customer is. Because right now when we talk about brands and customers have experience of the brands which are not even in India.
Right.
Yeah. And if we are bringing a brand and the customer is not in the city where my store is, how do I service that customer? So that thought process will be there, and we are building on to it. With respect to customer data, definitely, everyone wants the customer data.
Yeah.
We all want to rely on it. We all want to use it the best way possible, be it marketing, be it sales. But how do you want to churn that data is something that we have to realize. You will have mammoth amount of data in your data warehouse, but do you want to use it? You don't want to use it as a question. Can I say I don't want the pin codes now, but maybe later I would want it? Do I want to store it now? Do I don't want to store it? Yeah, there's a cost involved in each and every aspect of it. So from an IT standpoint, it's a decision that the business has to make. Of course, IT always comes in and will try and give suggestions of what should be taken now, what is the way forward. But at the end, it's a group discussion, group decision that has to be taken. And yes, data, you will always want and love to have the data.
And I think there is always this point and discussion, right? That this data, how is it making your distribution networks more effectively? I think all of you spoke about making your brand or your product available to consumers where you don't have a retail presence at the moment. So again, probably going back to the point of connecting the two, and that's an interesting challenge. So Mihir and Nikhil, both of you, I think kind of similar industries, food, wellness. Again, highly personalized. People know what they want to buy, but there is again the trust factor, the quality, and probably I'll also want to bring in Prabodh after this, because I thought that's like the right segue to bring him in, given his background on distribution and regulatory, managing regulatory requirements for Marico from a distribution perspective. So if both of you could share some perspectives on. The distribution remains to be your prime. I'm assuming distribution remains to be your prime. You need to make things available. It's not that the wellness industry is changing quite a bit, and the food industry from a distribution perspective or a end mile delivery perspective is changing quite a bit. But you are typically present through a brick and mortar, whether it is cloud kitchens also for that matter, or whether it is actual restaurants or retail plants, and for you as well, right? Like even if it is through dark stores or dark warehouses, you would have retail outlets over there. So your perspectives on how the distribution networks are evolving for you, and at the same time, it is very difficult to really capture. Right, you can probably just know that like no one wants to be upsold a medicine, right? And at that time, but you still need that data to kind of, but. I think we were having a conversation internally with some industry experts, and they were saying the wellness industry and the medical retail outlets are becoming more and more retail grocery outlets today, right? So is that a category that you look at, and are you using your distribution and first party data to combine that? And for you, Nikhil, after that is you're present in airports. It's typically people know exactly what they want at the airport, right? I know I go to the Starbucks, I pick up a coffee, and I go into my flight. So is that it, or at the same time you need to ensure the quality of the food is right, the consistency is right. Not sure how much of personalization can be done unless it's like a Swiggy or a Zomato where you know that hey, you ordered biryani 200 times this year. So, but how does the technology affect you in your distribution and personalization journey? So, if you want to go first,
thanks for that. I have my mic.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
He's got his mic. So we cater to a wide spectrum of customers because we've got two very different category plays happening. One definitely pharma, where we've got a lot of rich user experiences, and we've also got a rich user behavior in terms of chronic and sporadic customers that come to us. And then we've got the FMCG play. And in the FMCG play, a large part for us is questions around, are we a supermarket, or are we a wellness destination, or are we really that health destination that customers come to us for? And our story range, depending on the pin code. So a lot of very interesting perspectives that I can relate to across the categories over here. Because for us, the important part is inducing one more day. We know that we've got a once a month visit happening with a certain set of customers. And then we've got a certain set of customers that are coming to us twice a month, given, let's say, top-ups. And then we've got the FMCG play, which mandates maybe 3 or 4 times. And so we've got that entire spectrum of customers to play with. Technology plays a huge part in that. And for us, let's start with the omni-channel discussion. And the omni-channel discussion for us is a very important one, because omni-channel is the future of retail, yes. But for us, it's a great signal. It's a great signal to understand user behavior in a particular pin code and helping us expand our pin codes more. So given that we are a pharmacy, we tend to be relevant to a very small radius of a locality. And to expand that, omni-channel helps us. Omni-channel requires exactly the same just-in-time approach, which is making ourselves available, and availability is a very strong word across the organization. And because medicines have to come with that, as a de facto requirement. So for us, the intelligence goes in by using technology to give us the signal, starting to adapt our supply chain to start catering better to the respective pin codes. Because we've got pin code based intelligence, we know how a Pawai behaves versus a Bhayandar. And we know how we need to, kind of establish ourselves in those respective pin codes a lot better with predictable supply chain. That predictability comes with signals of omni-channel, and it also comes from retail data info. So we have to marry those two. We have to add the customer layer on top of that. Start building a little bit of intelligence on what kind of customer, because we might have first party data, but we need a lot of enrichment on it. And that's exactly where omni-channel starts taking that importance, because right now it might not be a big contributor in terms of the top line revenue, but it's a great contributor in insights. And building that technology play helps us start getting that enrichment going to a time when it's going to come to answer on a large portion of our revenue. So that technology incorporation across supply chain, merchandising, operations, and then final customer delivery, and tying it all together is a very important thing for us. We're doing it in pieces, and I can understand that conversation about a lineage backend and a very robust front end to be able to get customers into that experience a lot deeper. Because at the end of the day, the customer is going to evaluate us against what they are commonly experiencing. Evolved platforms, evolved front end. So they want to see similar features coming in. They want to see similar recommendations. They want to see similar predictability. They want to see similar customization. And that's where we are constantly trying to evolve our backend to say something at the point of sale, to say something on our digital front end, and to be able to give them the assurance that it's available wherever they choose to do that commerce. So I hope I was able to answer that, but you can understand.
No, absolutely. I think that's a common string, but thank you for sharing that. Nikhil, your perspective, right, from food industry perspective.
Yeah, in fact, and specifically for travel food, right, like where the businesses at the airports, like you rightly said. So it's a completely different animal, right? I mean, so we are operating a store where I know what is my one is okay. I know the end of life, right? So I'm not going to be there for next 100 years. It's only as long as my contract is there, I'm going to be servicing. So between now and then, I have to recoup a lot of things. So essentially, I can't lose a single transaction, a potential transaction, right? Because that is basically just going to completely go against the model where we have invested. The journey of distribution, I mean, just to put in perspective, yes, I mean, it may not be comparable to, let's say, your typically hub and spoke and the big warehouses, what we typically have and the retail out. But it is evolving for us, right? Because for us, the turnaround is it's measured in minutes. So you have something most of our locations are 24/7, right? So we can't really go for a stock out. There is a pattern which is there, but there are surprises, right? You have a delayed flight. Suddenly you have 200 people coming to an outlet. I mean, what do you do? And typically they would go for a similar type of product, right? So we need to be that have that agility built into our distribution. And when I say distribution, yes, I mean there are again different spectrums. So places, let's say like Mumbai, my kitchen is maybe 15 minutes from the airport, so which is still manageable. And now I talk of a location like Mopa, Goa, which is 40 kilometers from the city center. But I still have to have a kitchen there, still have to supply there, and again, food is perishable, right? I mean, we majority of our items, they don't have a shelf life more than maybe 6 to 8 hours, at most maybe 12 hours. I mean, like, depending on some category. So for us, the churn on, like, again, if it's not getting consumed, it's getting wasted, right? So having that optimum inventory, right? I mean, that is where, like, the entire technology comes into place, where, like, your sales is speaking to your, like, productions, and it's speaking to your central kitchens, and of course then, like, if I roll it up to a larger thing, then of course, like, supply chain, we are trying to, like, make it more robust by, like, really having larger contracts. So let's say if I'm buying something like a sugar or a wheat, right? So while earlier it was fragmented and it was more of, like, city-based or location-based type of ordering, I'm already moving my systems to pan-India type of thing, right? So can I buy, let's say, rice being, let's say, like, best available in a location in a quantity which is making economic sense to get distributed in, like, 20 of my airports. So that's where, of course, digitization comes into place, and a lot of investment, I would say, like, in the current year as well as the upcoming year. It's going to still focus on efficiencies and making sure, like, minimum inventory and minimum time to deliver. I mean, like, that's what the balance will maintain.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So about your views now, finally, from a regulatory digitization perspective, like, what role does digitization play from a regulatory standpoint? I know there have been discussions around digitization from a blockchain perspective, and all of those buzzwords that came in. But your thoughts, I'd love.
Yeah, thank
wish
you.
we had a lot more time, but
No, it's absolutely very great hearing all the stalwarts of the industry, and I handle the regulatory, and I'm also supporting a lot of startups as through the association. So in the food particularly. So let me put it the perspective that everybody is doing a digitalization, and everybody is doing online, and then taking the consumer in the confidence. But we have to understand that this government particularly is also becoming digital. Whatever the barcode which you are scanning and what information you are collecting from the consumer, the government is also collecting the same information from about you. So one non-compliance happened at one store, you don't understand that same non-compliance is getting actually flashed to all the stores. So the legal metrology, the CCPA, the consumer protection authorities, FSSAI for the food, you would actually earlier it was not. So what is happening at the corner of the one part in the state, if the same mistake, if you have dispatched all the product and there is some mistake in the label, you would say that within 24 hours the same information has gone to the Siliguri or the Chennai, and the inspector has reached out to your depot. That is happening. That is the power of digitalization. So you have to understand. So what I'm not threatening, but I'm saying cost of non-compliance, cost of compliance. So we need to be perfect. We need to be correct. The trust, what you have used the word, freshness, and in Godrej, because 150 years, the burden of the compliance is on us because we are a brand. We are not a night fly operator and kar do aur nikal jao. No, you are there. So how you and the consumer today, what I am seeing, the millennium, this Gen Z. These people are very fluctuating, and they don't want to hear anything. My daughter, she's 21, and she first see the reviews and then she take a decision. It's a very informed decision. It is not like impulsive decision. What we see the 40% off. My wife will say how much percent, like in the jewelry. First we see the right corner, what is off. The new generation sees the reviews, and they are very, very smart generation. You cannot cheat them. So the brand, I am saying, because I am the regulatory, we need to do our business authentically, and compliance is a hygiene. You are not doing anything like a seva. It is the hygiene. More than that, that is something different. And let me tell you, the burden of compliance is the brand. You may get produced this product from third party, but burden is the brand owner. And I hope you are nominee at different, you don't know your legalists must be taking signature. Believe me. And what has happened today, you must be having some of the restaurant chain, what has happened, some they are selling something and being claimed something. So claim is one area. I would say that as a brand ambassador, owner of the business, head of the business, please see that whatever you are claiming is your responsibility to see that that claim is authentic. Do not give the star and the disclaimer saying that this is only for 1 month. No. If it is fresh, it has to be fresh. If it is authentic, if it is a traditional, if it is a pure, whatever is the claim which you are making has to have that sense, because today is not regulator, consumer is demanding that repeat buying with that claim. So two areas I would say that whoever is your compliance team, don't consider compliance is a kind of speed breaker. No, rather they are the controller of your business to meet with an accident in future if you. And second thing, compliance is the way of life. We need to be compliant, and the business should do the compliance, not the legal team or regulatory team. I'm telling you, that is the best way of doing, and that is the accident free road. Then you can speed up your business because you know that I'm compliant.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think very interesting and diverse perspective on digitization and how it is ensuring compliance and going to the government. That word and sentence scares a lot of us, I believe. So, but that's the pitfall of the
Just
digitization.
add, earlier we used to say chalta hai, but let me tell you, now it is not chalta hai. We know that who is number one, number two there. Chalta hai, nahi chalta hai.
While we are capturing all of that information, it also can be used against the company. So the onus lies on all of us. So very interesting perspective. Thank you so much. So I know we are at the top of the hour, but I have one last question. I wanted to peel the onion, but didn't want to stop any perspectives. So I wanted to peel the onion a little more, and I leave it open on the table for anyone to answer. So while we were talking about transparency in distribution, one of the things that keeps coming up in a lot of discussions today is the online discounting models versus the distributor discounting and scheme models, right? Like, how do you tackle that in this ever changing? A lot of times, I have seen that online coupons or vouchers are not even honored in store, or the in-store coupons are not honored online. All of those challenges companies face. So I'll just throw it open in interest of time. Yes,
the
please.
easiest way to address that, first of all, is basically deciding that do we want the same prices. So, for example, my organization and we have decided that we want the same prices. So, a person who goes to online versus a person who goes offline will get the same prices, same offers. So, if he has got a paper EMI or a offline EMI scheme, subvention scheme 0%, he gets the same. Exchange offer gets the same. Cashback offer on cards gets the same. Prices and discounts gets the same. So that is a theory which we have, that we should have it the same way. So of course some organizations say, if you buy online you get something different, or offline you get something different. More than that, the system should be the same thing. So what we have also now progressing on, can we have the same system, so the same system sitting in the background which is billing. So then the transparency automatically comes in. And also in terms of stocks. So if we have stocks, when is the stock reaching the distributor versus dealer versus the consumer? We are trying to put in systems and processes now so that everyone can get visibility of that. It's a journey. We can't get it overnight, because it's a dream for a distributor to know that here is the truck, it is sitting here and it is coming to us. But that is what the ultimate aim is, because today and all these marketplaces or all these new gen companies have spoiled the consumer for choice, and they want to know that this is the hour and this is the date where the things will be reaching. So there was a time where people would, I'm going back many years, distributors will be waiting with DDs in their hands at the office, at our branch offices, and we would say, okay, you will get it in these many months or these many years. Today, you order now, and when am I getting it? So things have changed, and for people who have seen I'm sure none of you would have seen that era. But we have also seen an era where you book a scooter and you wait for 18 months or 5 years also. Yes, and the same thing was a fact with at one point of time. You book an Almira for a wedding in your family, and you wait for some time. Correct. Yes. And you say, "Itna din tak to aa jayega." So today you order, and by evening it should be there. So things are changing very fast, and legacy business and older businesses, we are also transforming it. Businesses who start with a clean slate don't realize what it is to have all this and locked in together. But very much a policy decision also, whether we want to have the same prices, same discounts. So that is
policy and technology, right? I think you also talked about having the same systems on the distribution side as well as the online side. So I think that's a fantastic
point. Actually, even if you decide, it's very difficult to decide on the marketplace. So your own website, your own omni-channel, which is available inside the store. So this is something what you can do. But the time it goes to Amazon, Flipkart, Myntra, all those places, it's their choice. Then it comes because that's their platform and they operate like that. But as a common policy, what I feel over a period of time, every company has taken a very, very stringent steps on that, and it's been at least ensured that same article, if this blue shirt is available, exactly the same silhouette and the design is on X price and X discount, that is not going to be discount on the other website. Because trust is something which is very, very important. The time it goes away, then customer is much more aware.
Absolutely.
Second point of transparency, the best example is vehicle delivery right now. So I was knowing that when my vehicle is being taken out from the factory now it has gone for the processing. Now, so from last 6 months, keep on updating you at what stage it is. So you know it that okay, it's a time from booking to coming, because there are few SUVs where bookings were enormous and they are taking some 6 months time. But the update was there to satisfy you and give you another hope that you don't go for the another vehicle and book it. So that's again a retention thing that has happened for the transparency only. What we are saying.
And as e-commerce players, pure digitally native e-commerce players go offline, they will also start facing escalations to regulatory authorities saying that the prices are different. So this is something which we started facing as soon as we launched e-commerce. And I'm sure it's a learning for people who are just e-commerce and they are starting up stores now. So they can't overcharge. So a lot of things are coming in now.
Very intriguing discussion. Thank you so much. But I'd like to probably summarize and thank each one of you is I think in one line that probably what we're looking at is the merging of the e-commerce technologies as well as your distribution technologies to create a more differentiated customer experience. So thank you so much for sharing your perspectives. I'm sure we could go on for another hour.
Shashank, I just want to add, what I was actually after the COVID, what I understood is that earlier we were working in silos and in the verticals within the companies. Like supply chain is supply chain, marketing, finance, regulatory. Today, all the verticals have actually gone. And even I can learn so many things from the jewelry, the business, because he has handled food. But now what your food learning, perishability might be helping you in the jewelry. So today is nothing like this business, I don't know. Everything is integrated, and second thing, we have a common problems outside. So better we unite and look at and help each other. I think help each other is a very important aspect, because we all are suffering and nobody can claim that nothing will happen to me. So we need to be.
Very true. Thank you for the closing note, Prabhu. Thank you everyone. Thank you.